I'm Chip Rowan with the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel, and you're watching In the Know. For this episode, I have with me Vern Oler. Hello, Vern.
Chip, how are you?
I am well. Vern is the city clerk for the city of Connellsville, and we met with Vern probably almost a year ago, I bet. Well, probably about 10 months ago.
Right around the holidays.
Yeah, right around the holidays, to talk about the McCray Robb Bridge, which also is known as the Memorial, not the Memorial, the Crawford Avenue Bridge in Connellsville. Memorial's another one, but yes. Fortunately they weren't both closed.
Amen.
But the McCray Robb Bridge was getting ready to close for reconstruction, and we met with him last fall to bring that actually bad news. But we have good news today.
There is light at the end of the tunnel. Sir.
Yeah, so how is construction going?
Construction is going well, right on schedule. Possible date mid-November to late November. We should be driving across the new...
Right around Thanksgiving time, probably.
And
a little before, maybe a little before.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely something to give thanks for. So it closed January 9th, because I know we moved here on the 15th to Armstrong's new office, and I remember it closed just right before that.
Yes, it actually closed a little early with PennDOT construction seasons. They wanted to give it some more time. But, I mean, we've had a good dry summer. No, too dry of a summer, actually.
Yeah, but good for construction.
Great for construction. And to say that they're on pace, they work 4/10s. Unless there was a holiday or one of the few rain-out days, they've still been working 4/10s. So they're not trying to get that extra day in to catch up or anything. And we're 2 months out, so everything's looking good.
Took a walk on Saturday. Was over on the west side of town and was walking around. Actually got fairly close to the bridge, and it looks like most of the deck is already poured. So it looks like the approaches are what they're working on now.
Approaches over on the eastern side, on the Yard Street side, there's some drainage that they're putting in. That should be wrapping up probably within the month, and then they will put all of their resources to the west side. And the next thing they need is to put the barriers up, and they're getting the right mixture of concrete for the barriers. So they dry, so they form and everything. So there's a science to it all. We've talked about this before, and to watch it unfold is unbelievable.
Well, I know they do core samples, those sorts of things. It's a lot of testing to make sure that the last bridge was there 60-some years, I believe?
Something like that.
Yeah, so hopefully this one will outlive both of us.
Yeah, it's those guys with the slide rules that, I mean, they make it happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Seems like the contractor's doing well. I think that's been a good relationship.
Solid line of communication between the contractor, PennDOT, and the city through this whole ordeal. Have there been some hiccups? Yes, you know, and I thank the residents again for their patience, because, you know, the big issue was when Water Street's closed.
Right.
When Water Street's open, traffic flows.
Right.
That is the inconvenience that backs things up on Pittsburgh Street, which you guys see here at Armstrong firsthand.
Yeah, it's been really busy. And I wasn't thinking about how that was going to happen, but it makes sense because it's the alternate route to get across the river. We didn't talk about this, so but I'll propose the question. You can decide how you're going to answer it. It seems like the city took advantage of an opportunity to do some more things while that road was closed. Is that a good assumption?
Oh, it's a great assumption. Actually, it was, you know, we talked about putting a storm line in on West Crawford Avenue probably for 3 or 4 years now. It was funded by CDBG money. CDBG money is not a quick Band-Aid. It takes time for the process. And to have it play out within the time frame when the bridge was out, very much of an inconvenience for the store owners up on West Crawford on the eastern side. But it's, you know, let's tear it up once and be done with it.
Yeah. And West Crawford actually starts at Pittsburgh Street now, which I always was a little bit confused by that.
A lot of people
because I always think West Crawford is on the other side of the bridge, but it truly is not. But I know that there was a lot of work done there, you know, with underground work. So that was storm
lines, and then water line. Actually, the water line is going on now. The storm line is just getting ready to start. And hats off to the sewage authority. Connellsville Municipal Authority actually has a project that they're going to do while everything is down, and put some manholes in to get access to their line. So, you know, why it's there. Then take it back between the sewage authority, the city, and the water company. We all can go in to have that road repaved, so we're all saving money.
I was going to ask that. So The goal would be, I would imagine, by the time the bridge opens and all this underground work is done. Is that it?
That's a great assumption. Yes,
Yeah,
it will be. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And just put new asphalt on top of there, and it'll look like it's all wrapped up for Christmas.
New paint. Yeah. Amen. Amen. We'll have that parade for Santa going across the bridge.
Yeah. Now you said there's no like a ribbon cutting. That's not planned, and the reason for that was
We want this bridge open as quick as the residents want this bridge. So, I mean, it would be nice to have something. Some dignitaries have been reached out to. Hopefully they will come in and we'll have a small ceremony, but we have the plaza right there.
Right.
We can do that. And then, maybe we will set it up to have a special dignitary or two be the first to drive over the new bridge or walk it possibly. But we're going to get this thing open as quick as possible.
that sounds like a good plan, and I'm sure everyone over on that side of town would appreciate that.
On both sides. Both sides.
Yeah, because West Side is actually impacted too, because you don't have the traffic going through there. So.
The traffic does flow a little smoother over there, but
Yeah.
yes, it's and they have and they've had some hiccups too. Like I said, I feel bad for our local business owners, but their patience has prevailed through this whole ordeal.
And speaking of that, we encourage our folks, they can still patronize those businesses. It would probably be good, even though it may be inconvenient to get there. It's a good idea right now, even though through November, to think about those businesses that are in that area and try and make a point to go there.
It would be a good start for the holiday season to get
Yeah.
your shopping done. Why not go to those places first?
Yeah, so West Crawford on that side of Pittsburgh Street on what I call the east side of town.
Right.
And then also the businesses on the west side of town.
Correct.
I'm sure communication with the city's been difficult at times with people complaining. You've probably got a lot of that, and you'll probably be glad for that to be over too.
What blew my mind through this whole ordeal, born and raised, and maybe, all my years of public works, I maybe know an alley or two that the average Joe doesn't. But people who live in an area and only know how to get from point A to point B with one designated route and don't know an alternative route, it kind of shocked me through this whole ordeal as they was complaining through it. And I'd say, well, what about, never thought about going that way.
Because they just never did it.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't have to. Yeah.
Well, I know myself, I would think, like, say, Mid-Penn Bank, if you're going to go there, you got to think about how am I going to get there? Because with Arch Street closed there at the intersection, too. So I would get down at West Penn Hill, the steep hill. And, of course, that wasn't a good winter route, but it was good for the summer.
Exactly. And the thing is, okay, I can get there. How am I getting back?
Yeah.
That's, is where, but like I said, if Water Street was open, things are smooth.
Yeah. Well, I know everyone will be glad when it's done, and I'm sure you'll be among those people that will be glad when it's finished. So.
I had to laugh when this first started and they started the demolition. They had the jackhammer up there and it's tat, 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 tat. And I'm home and I had ate dinner, sat in my chair watching TV, and I start to get this thumping in my ear. Long story short, when the bridge was done, when the decking was off the bridge, the tapping in my ear went away. It was the jackhammer sound.
Hearing that all day long.
All day long.
Because your office is right on that side of the building.
Right next to it, yes.
Yeah. So I know we talked about this in the first one, but if I didn't see that, let's talk about the layout of the new bridge. So the lane structure is different from what we were used to.
The lanes actually, the one lane heading westbound will be the same width as before. A little narrower. The lane heading eastbound is going to have a shared lane for hiking and biking on that side of it, which would be the southern side of the bridge.
Right.
The northern side is still going to have the raised
Sides
sidewalk.
closest to the city hall.
City Hall
Yeah.
will have the raised sidewalk on there.
Okay.
And PennDOT does not consider that a safety factor, but that little bit of raised sidewalk would probably be best for pedestrians to walk across. If someone, you're not to text and drive, but people do, if they're not paying attention, they could drift off a little bit. You still have that raised sidewalk as a little bit of a barrier for a safety issue there.
So it's great for the bikes. We have, of course, a lot of people in town, and it gives them actually kind of part of a lane there to ride in.
We actually, city was awarded some money, working with PennDOT now for a pedestrian bridge as part of the Iron Horse Bridge project for an interurban loop. This lane will play into that loop. and it'll connect back up with the trail at the bottom of First Street, South First
Okay,
and Third. So yeah,
that's very good.
yeah, it's gonna be awesome when it's all said and done.
Well, Vern, I appreciate the update. Looking forward to bridge being closed. I'll
appreciate
probably
when it's
drive
done.
over it a couple times that day.
Please, we should maybe make it into a toll bridge again because everybody will be using it.
At one time it was. This is what the third bridge there. Is that correct? Well, in recent years.
That I know of.
Yeah, I saw some old photos on Facebook. So it had to be true if it was on Facebook.
I have a friend of mine's father had the video of the implosion of the original bridge before this.
And that was a toll bridge, I believe, right? One of
No,
them
it
was.
wasn't at that time, but at one time it was.
Yeah.
They did charge to go across.
Okay. Because there's so much for a sheep and so much for someone walking. I saw some tolls.
Yes. So.
Yeah. But there won't be any toll. He's joking. Don't get alarmed, folks. Well, thanks, Vern. Appreciate the update.
Chip, thank you.
Yeah. And now you're in the know.